Good evening and welcome everybody to the regular Gilbert Council meeting of July 28th, 2020. The time is now 6:38. I'll have a roll call be done by the city clerk or deputy clerk. Sandra?
Councillor Leone.
I can hear you.
Councillor Skenzich.
Here.
Councillor Pullis. Mayor Oberstar.
Here.
Let the record show in attendance in chambers is City Attorney Brian Lindsay, City Clerk Jim Paulson, Deputy Clerk Gulan. Also in attendance is City Engineer John Jamnick, and via remote Zoom in attendance is their campground directors, Barb and John Routinen, Library Director Sue DeVos, Police Chief Teacher, and also in attendance are Ron LaFawn from Stantec and Chris Mickelson from Ellers.
And clerk, this is Rebecca Robich. I'm also in attendance.
Okay, we have Councillor Rebecca Robich in attendance. Thank you.
Very good. We've established a quorum so we can have a meeting. Would everybody help me with the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approve city council minutes. Councilors, we approved the July 14, 2020 city council meetings, city council working session. July 14, 2020, I reviewed the minutes already. I'm okay with them. Councilors, do you have any additions, corrections, or deletions? Otherwise, everything's in order, or somebody would care to motion?
I'll second.
Moved by Councillor Skenzich, supported by Councillor Leone to approve the July 14, 2020 City Council working session minutes. Any more discussion? Councillor Pullis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councillor Skenzich?
Aye.
Councillor Leone?
Aye.
Councillor Robich?
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries. Regular City Council meeting of July 14, 2020. I've reviewed this as well. Everything is in order. If Councilor Robich could, if your volume could go up a little bit. I know I just barely heard an aye that last time. So I don't know where that's supposed to go up. Right there? Okay. All right. So what's the council wishes on that? Motion by Councilor Skenzich to approve the minutes of July 14 regular city council meeting minutes 2020.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Leone. Any further discussion? Councilor Pullis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich?
Aye.
Councilor Leone?
Aye.
Councilor Robich?
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 5-0. All right, public input is next on the agenda. Does anybody here in the audience or on virtual TV or telephone have anything they wish to discuss with the council? Is council, city clerk, deputy clerk, is there anybody in attendance out there?
Is there anybody that wishes to speak during public input? Thank you, Mayor. I believe there is nobody.
Okay, and if there anybody comes in, please let us know. All right. Reports by mayor and council. We'll start with councilors first. Councilor Robert, you have anything?
No report.
No report. Thank you. Councilor Pulis.
The only thing I have to add is with all construction stuff going on, Gilbert, what that people completion is speeding through there, people working in that kind of thing, once you would also have consideration for as if you would want to put that out there.
Very good. Thank you. Councilor Skinsich.
Yeah, I've got a few things. Some residents kind of expressed some concerns that they've had, and kind of got 5 different things right now. And we've been dealing with some of them, I know, in the past, well, recently, but one of the issues is a blight issue. And there are complaints for, well, like grass not being cut, and there's possibly some furniture in the yard, garbage all over some residents' yard. That was one issue. I know another issue is they're talking about the speed of vehicles going through town. And originally when I talked, I spoke with one person, I'll say, they brought up a specific area in town up by Summit Street and the park. And they see people really flying by there, and I don't know if that's right now, mainly because of this construction that's going on, that people are using Summit Street as an alternate. But as that went on, there were more and more people talking about this street or that street. So, I mean, it's kind of citywide. We've got a real issue that are listening to people talk about this speeding, like, you know. Another area that there was concern about, there was for the Hopkins Park. They've been witnessing ATVs racing around in there and some suspicious activity. I've actually got something for Ty on this that a resident shared with me. Maybe he can address some of that part of it, the suspicious activity part of it. I don't want to, but and then just a few were talking about noise, exhaust, how loud it is on some vehicles that are going by, and if there's, you know, something we can do, you know, you hate to do you hate to have the place locked down in Fort Knox, but if it's that loud, something should be done about it. We have an ordinance in there for noise anyway, so those are 5, well, that's 4. The other one is there's still a lot of confusion on this. I know we passed it already, but there's some residents questioning this phase 2's costs. I guess I'm looking, is there a simple way that we can go through this where, you know, maybe if there's a handful of people that are really interested, or maybe more, that we could address this so they would fully understand, I guess, the facts rather than some of the things floating around out there about this phase 2 project that I'm looking for, you know.
Well, phase 2, I think I've said many times up here. Phase 1 dealt with the Main Street, not the Main Street above ground, but other than sidewalks and streetlights, is the city's some portion of the sidewalk, not all of it. We only have about 10%. The 2-inch, the sidewalks are going to be 6 inches. We have the 2-inch responsibility that we added on from 4 to 6. That's the city's portion to address. But phase 1 is Main Street from sidewalk to sidewalk. So city, also the city's responsibility is the infrastructure. We got this Main Street going to be opened up, totally exposed, not just take 3 inches off, 6 inches off. And if there's a swamp under there, that gets fixed too. We're going to have a total replacement of the bituminous from Kansas Avenue to Highway 35 over here. And with that, example, if you're gonna fix your basement floor because you got a number of cracks like a spider web, you would replace your cement portion, but if you have plumbing under there that's old, maybe you don't know if there's a problem there, but you would think you got old plumbing, you're not gonna put a brand new cement slab on top of that old plumbing. You would think as well, now is a good time to change that plumbing before I put this new cement slab over it. And that's what phase one is about. We don't know if we have an infrastructure problem, sewer, water, and storm sewers going underneath this main street. The city has addressed that. That cost city $1,440,000 to do that. There's about 6 streets. We're not talking about every avenue in town, but 13 avenues, about 6 of them, half of them are going across the main street. Now is the time. Yeah, we don't know. They're 90 to 100 years old. The city has taken the responsibility. We're not going to open up this main street 3 years from now if something happens. Here's the time. Fix it. Get it done with. Hopefully, the only problem would be poor quality workmanship. The phase 2 part of it is at the corner of every street of these 6 streets, you got a storm sewer connection or a city connection to an old water and sewer line that goes up the hill or down the hill. And at some point in the future, this is going to go bad. That half a block here down or half a block up. So the phase 2, the brunt of phase 2 addresses that. That half a block up to this parallel alley of Main Street and the parallel alley below Main Street is a good starting point to just go. If any problems in the near future Gilbert has, it will be above that alley and below that alley. The area between the 2 alleys covering the main street will be totally replaced. Should not have any problems other than poor workmanship, quality work for another 90 years, other than bituminous and sidewalk, which most of that will be the responsibility of the Minnesota Highway Department. Gilbert's responsibility of replacing the infrastructure will be totally done for 90 years. You won't have to come back down this area to fix a water line or sewer line that goes this way. You'll start at that alley and you'll start at that alley below that. This whole area, this chunk is done for 90 years. Gilbert will be paying for it for 20 years, yes, but after that, you got another 60, 70 years of trouble-free, except for the quality of the product, piping, and the workmanship, which I cannot guarantee, but that will not be a problem or a headache for Gilbert anymore. Plus, in that phase 2, there's a couple streets we put in there. Lower Louisiana is a very narrow street and all beat up like Bosnia after the planes bombed it. And same with Nebraska has issues, and we have I&I issues in sewer line in Nebraska and in New York, which are going to be addressed. I think other than that, there's a lot of other good streets in town now. Those are 2 trouble areas, Lower Louisiana and Upper Nebraska. They're on the list. The cemetery, lower expansion has dirt road up there. That is on the list for pavement and patching the rest of the area up there. That's about $40,000 or $50,000 on that list. French Road and starting, there's 3 roads in Genoa area of Gilbert, French, Nemi, and the lower, below the highway there. Take the most residential area first, and the most costly road. It's about time we fix a road over there. I don't like to live on a dirt road, and fix and blacktop that area, just like no street right here. Those people are Gilbertans and they need a good road just like anybody else does. And so we're going to address that. and phase 1, 2, or 3 over there, or phase 1 only, depending on what the council wishes to do, but at least we're gonna start something there. Those three things, and then also in that phase 2, we added in the water tank is in that, we got another $800,000 of a water tank inside and out that should have been done 10 years ago. We got some preventive maintenance work on phase 2. We got some needed work to do on phase 2, which is the water tank. We have taken a big load on, and other than the substation, also the electrical substation will be replaced in September. That's an electrical issue, and all the street lighting in Gilbert will be replaced to galvanized steel. You won't need preventive maintenance painting for no painting at all. Won't be no peeling. Won't look like it is right now. Be trouble-free, headache-free for Gilbert for a long period of time. The 6-inch cement sidewalk, the city crew can at least now get on there without too much damage or any damage to the sidewalk. We're also putting a sidewalk between Kansas and Alaska Avenue in so people don't have to walk on the road. So that is I don't know what more I can add to phase 2 and phase 3. And I talked about this when the highway department had our hearing here in February. I kind of like took over the show to explain other than just the Main Street area. The highway department is putting $5 million into between Evelyn and Gilbert through Gilbert. Gilbert's portion with the phase 1 infrastructure work basically underneath Main Street, phase 2 infrastructure work on both sides of Main Street to get that area all done, plus these other 2 streets. And we're doing some down CDBG stuff down here too. IRRB is going to pay a part in this with money. CDBG, PFA, Minnesota Authority, we stand to gain $1.7 million there. Basically, the $4.5 million, we're going to stand to gain $3 million, almost is what I've been told. So when it all gets lumped later, it's all 1.5. Then we have the water and sewer, water and electric meters to deal with. People understand that there's 200 meters that are dead. We don't want to estimate no more. So that hasn't been added on to this yet because we haven't decided to award this bid yet. And the other water tank, the lower water tank, is on our phase 2, 3, or whatever it calls it. Next year, it is in, I don't know, it is in very, very bad condition. And how it got that bad, it didn't get bad in 1.5 years, I'll tell you that right now. We were told about it last year. I don't know if anybody has been told about that in the years prior to the last year. It should have been reported years ago. That didn't happen overnight. But anyway, this council has taken on the responsibility of interest rates are low. The Main Street is open up like a tin can. Here's the time and opportunity to get a big burden off the city of Gilbert for 90 years to come. Water tank, probably 20 years. Substation, another 25 years. We're not kicking the can down the road here. And I got to congratulate this council for taking on that responsibility. But we need 4 votes here, and it was very, very hard to get 4 votes here. Unlike I never had trouble to get that kind of votes in the past. Gilbert is more than just 6 police officers, 6 city workers, and 3 staff. You got miles of underground, you got miles of cable on a wire, on the poles. You got city buildings that need upkeep. You got retiree benefits. You got insurance benefits on these buildings. All all this costs money. And the property taxes do not pay all the bills in Gilbert. Gilbert runs like, I'm going to just really simple, $3 million a year to run Gilbert, not to do anything fancy in Gilbert, or improve Gilbert. $3 million, let's put it. 1.5 comes through property taxes, just an example. It's actually 1.6, and 1.2 comes from revenues outside of property taxes. St. Paul, state of Minnesota, mining company tax. Local government aid is a big thing. That comes from sales taxes sold. That comes from income taxes, people's income taxes, and per capita, per head. Gilbert gets so much per head. Gilbert gets handicap money, diversity money for being a city that has a handicap and economic development, let's put it. Just trying to point out, if you were just going to rely on paying the $3 million to operate Gilbert, don't do any improvements, which 6 months a year do you want Gilbert to run? That's all the property taxes pay for is 6 months. January to June, June to January, which one? Those other 6 months, if you didn't get that other revenue from these other outside sources, Gilbert would be shut down for 6 months. No police, no city crew, no staff, no cutting grass, or no snow plowing. No. And thank God there is the other half. And we're not the only one. The other communities too. Not everything paid for in Gilbert is paid by property taxes. And it's not supposed to be that way, actually. And it's getting more and more like that. More and more property tax side burden because less money coming from St. Paul. You know why? Because those property taxes people down there with the $400,000, $500,000, $1 million homes are tired of paying their taxes and having St. Paul sending up the Iron Range. Or the state of Washington, or Washington, D.C. is tired of sending over to Portland. It's a dog-eat-dog world on taxes. I just want to point it all out. You got to take care of your house. It's going to fall down. And this council is taking the bull by the horn, and we're doing something about it and fixing situations that will hopefully will not have to be addressed for another 90 years. Thus, phase 2. If it was not for the main street being opened up like a tin can now, would we probably be talking about this? Would that be on our radar? The underground workers, nothing is telling us that we have a problem there. It's just, you better do it now because it's not going to look good later to do it. And maybe not even get the permission to do it, to open up the main street. Because we've been told we're going to open it up, take care of your business, and we're doing that. Oh yeah, we're adding a little few wings on it, but that's going to be a benefit to Gilbert in the long term, versus messing around with Main Street here, Don, or messing around and interfering in the business of one of the businesses here some other year. I mean, we took a big load on, and it's going to be a big benefit to the city of Gilbert. And I think the price was. Jim, you want to tell us about, for the folks? This is all under, I don't have to say it no more. It's all under Jeremy's question, okay? I won't have to speak about it no more. Go ahead, tell us the breakdown. There's been a lot of stuff about $45 and $9 million and all this other kind of stuff on Facebook, which is not a forum for me to address on. This is the time to get the facts right.
Mayor, I'll take this in phases. In phase 1, when we looked at our total cost and the funding avenues we had between the PFA, IRRB, the electrical fund, and the bond amount, it came out to be, we are looking at $1.70 per month debt service charge to cover phase 1 for 240 months for the residents of Gilbert. In phase 2, and the 2020 street projects portion, the $2.4 million approximate cost, when we factor out the projected funding for PFA, IRRB, and our bond, we're looking at approximately $8.15 a month for 240 months. We look at the water tower, $775,196. It comes out to 240 months at $5.21 per month. That is without any grant money, and we are anticipating getting some grant money for that. So that's a worst case scenario on that. So then we look at the meters that we're planning on doing that you alluded to. Once again, without any grant money, we're looking at about $600,000. So it comes out to be $3.50 per month for the 240 months. So when we look at all of those and we add all those together, worst case scenario that we are looking at is $18.56 a month for a little over $4 million for the projects. We think we're in a very good position with these projects. And like I said, we anticipate more grants than what we have factored in here because we wanted to factor conservatively.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and we've already approved phase one, and we approved going out to pay this thing with the bond. And only thing, phase two is already been approved. The water tank's already been approved. The only thing that has not been approved yet is the electric and water meters. Tonight we have phase two going out for the bond to pay for this thing. And once we get all the bonds in to pay for this thing, then we're going to have to pass on that $18.50 by the end of the year onto the debt service of the water for 20 years. And after that 20 years is up, you'll be in very good shape, other than blacktopping and under sidewalk, which would be the responsibility of the highway department. This main street and up to the alleys in between is done, or I anticipate 80 or 90 years from now, depending again on the quality of the piping, steel, and the workmanship of the contractor. I can't guarantee that, but otherwise, if it lasted this long, well, I'll tell you, I'm scary. I just was told about city crew did a patch job at a water line break somewhere, and I didn't want to talk about how they band-aided this thing up. I don't know how many years ago, but it's unreal. It lasted this long, but there'll be no bandaging things up. It'll be brand new and it'll last a long time. I don't think anybody in this room, anybody in the city of Gilbert right here, has ever paid for the first installation of piping in this town. The first, anybody pay in this room for that first installation of piping? All these miles of pipe, anybody here? I don't remember me doing it. Well, we're caught in the second installation here now. We've enjoyed 100 years of it right now, everybody. The flow of the sewer and the water. Well, here we are. We want to enjoy another 100 years, we've got to do some work. Spend some money. Anything else on that, Gary? Can I explain it okay? Or?
I think that was a great explanation. Awesome. But like I know you personally are working on some of that, and we were talking about this meeting and stuff like that. Maybe I'll get the time. I wanted it out there publicly known that these are items that we will address.
I'll let you know. Ty, you're on. I know you're on TV. We've had a lot of complaints about just because the people don't want to use the two-lane traffic on Main Street. We got them going up Summit and Court Streets, and we have somebody particular running around town for no reason at all at 9 o'clock at night. I know I hear them, and the clockwork. So yeah, hopefully maybe you're aware of it already, but please take take these into consideration, what Councilor Skenzich is saying. We need some speed control up on Summit and Court Street and Hopkins Park. There's some, I don't know, some playing going on. I don't know. So
I'll contact
Earlier, probably about a month ago, we talked about changing some of the yield signs on Summit. And that one other one actually, instead of having a yield going to the stop sign, I don't know, that's a possibility that would hopefully slow people down, but whether or not they'll be in the sign or not, yes. That start anyway.
yeah, I hope you guys can get together and come back with something.
I will talk to Councilor after the meeting.
What's that, Ty?
I will contact Councilor after the meeting. I had a hard time hearing him with this.
Okay. Okay, I might have you repeat something because I didn't hear it, but I'm sorry. So, okay, and the blight. I've had about 4 or 5 people already. I had this task force on blight, so they've contacted me. They want to be on the task force. I see some action has been taken on some of the issues already by the property owner. So I don't know how the heck to get the word out to everybody. If you got something you don't want to go to the garbage grounds for, or pay the $3, or don't have the means to get there, we have a roll-off right down here in the city pen down here that you can put most things in there, not paint or TVs or things like that. But most things you can throw in there. Please use it versus the bright. You mentioned the grass. We have our blight officer cite people with the grass is getting out of hand. I mean, I think we addressed that last year by doing the grass by the city crew and putting that bill on the property taxes, a lien on the property taxes of the property owner, because sometimes these people don't live here, you know. But no excuse for the neighbor next door to have to live with tall grass and all kinds of critters. Who knows what's in there? So we need to address that. I know it's what's the city crew doing in there, but doggone it, we have to do it in there, but we're not doing it for free either, though. We are trying to recoup that money and time with that money spent elsewhere. Too bad we have to do that, but doggone it, we can't let Gilbert fall apart, fall down to the ground, and we can't let it look like heck either. I mean, we want to, no, can't do that. Anything else, Councilor Skenzich, on that? It's almost took up all my stuff here.
No, that's it, thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, though. Very good. Councilor Ioni.
No, nothing at this time.
Thank you. Well, yes, yeah, I don't have much extra addition to put into my talk. Other than the councilors, I have in front of you some paperwork I'd like you to see about the expansion of the cemetery we're talking about. I just come to I had a meeting with a gentleman who wants to sell, or not sell, but swap some land in Gilbert that might be useful to us for our cemetery up there. I want you to look at it, come back. I like to have the cemetery board look at it. I want John looking at it, see if there's any use for the city or benefit, and then we'll bring it up at another time. Not a big rush on that. I'm going to have Sam, and I talked to Minnesota Power. There are disruptions in our dips in our service they've been addressing some of the situations, and things have been better. I mean, I'm sure everybody's crossing their fingers the last time storms we had with the lightning and everything was without a hitch. So they are apparently found some problems and are addressing them problems. So hopefully we minimize those issues. No guarantees for everything, but I think it's better than it was So I just want to report that they are diligently still working on those. One thing I want Sam, and they're going to send a representative for Sam to work out a plan. Those 3-4 blocks down there, once the center lights are out, there's not going to be no lights down there. I don't think we addressed the issue with temporary lighting for those 4 blocks while the construction is going on. It's going to be bad for people walking, bad for traffic, black, once those center lights are gone. So hopefully Sam and Minnesota Power or in Minnesota Highway Department can come to all the talks I've had for a year and a half, we never even talked about that. But things come up, you know. We talked about other things, but never was brought up. But hopefully we can get a solution to that temporary lighting, and I talked to Minnesota Power, there's a way to fix that. So Sam, be aware, Sam Adams is gonna come. You guys work this thing out. And Dick Duggins from Minnesota Highway Department involved, and see, just get it done, basically. And hopefully, I'm glad we got it, because we're not at that point. They're still working, they're not, you know. And if there's lighting going on out around town, and I know some residents are calling in, got a black light that's been here for 3 months, 4 months. I addressed that with Minnesota Power, and I addressed that with our city here. I've asked Ty with the police department on the patrol at midnights to, if they see a dark light bulb go out, put it down on a description of the area and bring it to the water and light clerk, and every 5 light bulbs that are out, we're gonna, Minnesota Power will get that job ticket versus 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months down the road. This is not acceptable to wait that long. Safety lighting is a big priority of mine anyway, to allow people walk, and they need lights. They walk in the night just as well as the daytime. Otherwise, why have even a light bulb if you're not going to have it lit? So my point is, we are addressing the BO light issues in Gilbert. I think the main street will be in full operation as far as construction starting next week, early August. They're getting already geared up and set up. They're doing some of the bypass lanes on the highway, and then once them are addressed, and all they need to do is do the paving, they'll be moving into town here and getting it done. So we addressed a lot of other things in the working session. Was it good? Wow, we gotta get going here. All right. Things are good. Things are getting good, and progress is being made. City Attorney Brian Lindsay, got anything?
No formal report, Mayor. The one thing that I will note, just for purposes of the record, I'm sure that the folks watching from home have noticed that we're not wearing masks, even though the governor's new executive order is in place. And I did just want to make it part of the record that the City Council, while we're in these meetings or in meetings that are subject to the open meeting law in Minnesota, are exempt from that requirement of masks. We're allowed to have our masks off for the purposes of the meeting under that executive order 20-81, paragraph 10, subpart C.
What's a 6 feet of social distance?
So long as we do that, we can remove our masks for purposes of the meeting.
Very good, thank you. Anybody councilors have any questions for our city attorney? Rebecca, Councilor Robish, please. I could only see a telephone up on that screen. If you want to chime in, please do. And maybe talk loud. I'm not hearing still nothing over there. So I didn't hear Ty very good. So all right, nobody? Okay. City Engineer John Jamnick.
A few items. The contractor on the CDBG project from last year, Lower Michigan, still working on the punch list items. A lot of it has to do with restoration and sodding the areas down in Lower Michigan. So that's ongoing.
John, you got an echo there. So.
Pardon me?
You had an echo feedback. Try again.
It's not working?
No, it's good.
Okay. And one of the issues we had with the restoration though was when it was so hot out in July, contractor didn't want to cut any sod. So hopefully when it cools off a little bit overnight, now we can get some sod cut and get that areas taken care of. I did include a recommendation letter on the meter bids that we took back on June 23rd. We actually had one bid on the project, Core and Main, for a base bid of $522,570.48. I think, and our recommendation would be if the city was going to award the contract, to award it to Core and Main for that dollar amount. There was some add alternates to the bid. Basically, the add alternate number one was for if we had to add some additional valves. So just to have a unit price for valves as the contractor's installing the meters. And a second add alternate was for the freezing. In case they can't shut the water off, the contractor can actually freeze the water line to install the bed. So we have a unit price to do that work if necessary. It'll be probably an individual building basis for that work. So that's the recommendation at this time for the project. And the third item I had was the well bid up. I've been working with Sam and nailing down a little bit more of the scope that was discussed at the last meeting. So we're going to get those more quotes, more formal quotes between the two that the city got a few months ago or earlier this spring on the well projects. And that's all I had at this time, unless there's some questions for me.
On the meters bids update, are we ready to award the meter bids for water and sewer? You know, Minnesota, my rep Luke, he asked me, I thought he was supposed to be involved with the meters, like he was at that meeting we were at about a year ago on meters. We went out for bids. These are they different meters or what, City Hall?
Who was that?
Minnesota Power. Did they have meters that they showed us about a year ago?
I think the city explored that option for a while of having Minnesota Power actually doing electrical.
Well, they asked me how did that get dropped? So I don't remember. So
I don't think Minnesota Power would have been part of this competitive bidding process, but it was some more of a formal contract with them providing meters. I don't know how the negotiations, I wasn't really too involved. I remember.
Well, we had a round table here, and they were involved with saying that we need to get something done with them, you know, so. And they showed us some things, and we took them things and specs, and now we went out for bids, and here we are, so.
Yeah, I don't remember, Jim. I mean, there was some proposals from Minnesota Power on providing the meters and them basically taking it over. The city wouldn't own the meters, Minnesota Power would own them.
That was my understanding also, and from my recollection, as the spec had come up with, John worked on getting the spec done, put the project out. I can't speak for Minnesota Power and why they didn't bid on it. It's possible they didn't meet the spec for their meter That I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I put on the agenda meters bid update and possibly award water and meter bids. Are we ready for that or not? Are we ready to award a bid or not?
Well, I think it just kind of comes down to the financing side. If you're ready to do the financing, I don't know if we're quite 100% ready for the financing piece, Jim.
Yeah, we don't have anything currently lined up for this. And my other question would be, with the COVID, if we were to award this as it is, to have the meters done in, I think it was October. So is that feasible with the COVID situation at this time?
So you're saying we could wait on this? Wait on awarding this
Yeah, I
bid?
mean, that's great. There was a schedule to get the work this done as soon as we could. Of course, we've got some constraints set up on that right now. So I mean, maybe a suggestion would be to follow up with Core and Main, the bidder, and, 'cause we have like 60 days to hold the bid. Maybe we, maybe purchase the meters and don't get them installed the next year, or look at what some options we might have on that.
And I would, to dovetail off of John's comment there, I would suggest we ask Core and Main to provide us with their COVID plan for the installation.
I don't want to lose the bid, the 60-day part. We have that relapse on us, or lapse, I mean. That, otherwise we got to go out for bids again. If they wish to, well, even if they say yes or no, we would have to legally go out for bids again, because other people want to bid on it after that 60 days. That's the rules. So I don't want to lose that bid. Number 2. Okay, let's put it on the agenda for the last meeting of August, okay? When is that? August 25th?
Yeah, 25th.
August 25th. Some kind of answers for in resolutions and everything like that for Ellers and all that kind of good stuff. Jim?
Yeah, that would give us some time to take a look and get some things lined up. Can we have Core and Main provide us with their COVID plan for installation? I think it's a very important piece of this puzzle.
Well, yes, like John says, we'll just buy the thing and then we'll get ready to, whenever we can get put in. Well, that's another issue, as long as we got them, because I said, I want to see that 60 days go and this bid price had to start all over again.
Yeah, John, you think that's feasible if we go forward here in next month and buy them with the contingency of the installation happening contingent upon approval of their COVID plan?
Yeah, we can, yes, that's feasible. I think we could send an email to them, one requesting, a lot of times the 60-day period after the bid opening can be extended if it's mutually agreed between the owner and the contractor. So we can request a little bit of a time extension from the bidders, which I wouldn't anticipate being a problem, so we can get that. But tonight, doing the same thing, like Jim was saying, get the COVID plan and,
How much time has lapsed now? 30 days or?
and see if there's an option of awarding, buying them and reinstalling them next year. I mean, just working with them on it, yeah.
To answer your question, Mayor, yes, the bids were open on the 23rd of June, so we are 35 days or so into it.
35 days. Well, then that means August 14th. August 13th, we should put on that agenda then. Okay? August 13th. August 13th, because we won't have a meeting on August 11th because of the elections primary. We have it on Thursday. Just a reminder to everybody, August 13th.
Yeah.
So does that give us, that's still under 60 days now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at the August 13th meeting, we'd still be within the 60 days.
Well, you know, Counselor, if we don't want to do the water and electric meters, we better make sure that we don't have to estimate no more meters. And we got 200 meters that are not being used. We're not getting usage readings and getting usage money. They're just $30 unmetered, $30 when you could probably make more than that because of the usage. So there's no, why 200 are not been replaced? I don't know, but it's unacceptable. We need to do something. Otherwise, we gotta make sure we don't, or go back to the manual reading, one or the other. So we can't let this up. This is another, yeah, it's gotta be addressed. I guess is the word, gotta be addressed.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Can we have an experimental, have about 5 people? 5 people who have it installed, see how it works. Why can't we do that?
Well, you mean for the
water meter.
it works pretty good already.
Oh, it works pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They're pretty, I think the paperwork is pretty reasonable. Well, we got 20 years out of the water meters originally here that were put in. And they're only supposed to last 20 years, and here we're in a 40-year mark. But 200 of them aren't working. You know, not out of 850. So, well, you're going to be up to 400. You got half of them not working. Well, you defeat the purpose of the water meter. But the issue with the electric meter is how it affects people with, I don't know, pacemakers and stuff like that. That's what the Water and Light Board is working on, different issues like that for an opt-out clause, so they don't have to have that type of a meter, you know. So, okay, well, we heard his update. We're gonna refer that down to August 13th, right? Fire hydrant easement, your guys are working on that, you said?
Yeah. Been waiting for our survey to finish up his field work and drawing up the sketch so I can get Brian the easement description.
You don't anticipate no problems with the landowner and nothing like that, okay? And the well bid, you said that's
Working with Sam on that.
okay. Any counselors, questions for John on these issues or another issue? Thank you, John. And like I said, you got that map about the cemetery?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I got a couple more things on the agenda.
Go ahead. Oh, up the agenda, okay. Moving on, police chief, Ty teacher. Go ahead, Ty.
Nothing unless the council has something of me.
Ty said, did anybody hear that? Jeez, do I have wax in my ears or what? I don't know, I can't hear that. Sorry. Well, he says, I know, I heard an echo. He has nothing to report unless council has something for him other than what we talked about. Ty, your door has a window that won't roll up and down. Can you get that fixed?
Yes, we get that taken care of.
On your car?
We get that taken care of.
Okay. All right. Okay. I had to put that in there. Okay. Public Works Operating Director, Mr. Sam Lotiger. Hey, Sam, you there? Still not there?
No, Mayor, Sam, he was going to attempt to get on. He didn't know what kind of service he was going to have, so he wasn't sure if he'd be able to remote in tonight. So if he's not on there, he wasn't able to.
Okay, Jim, take a spot.
Yeah, the first one, the campground roof repair, I discussed that a little bit earlier with Sam, and I believe John was looking at getting some quotes together for that campground roof for the office and the shower house.
Yeah, Sam and I looked at the 3 buildings down at the campground, and the main office, we came up with a cost estimate between 16 and 20,000. It's about an 800 square foot building. Replaced the shingles, soffit, fascia on that building. I didn't get a chance to get into the shower building. So I don't have a cost on that, but it'd be pretty close to being the same. We didn't know if the exterior fascia work needed to be replaced. And then the third structure was the pavilion, whether or not wanted to re-roof that, or Sam was talking about possibly moving the pavilion to a different location, kind of down towards where the playground equipment was. So we do have some costs on some of that roof repair work right there.
And is it a possibility for grants for this kind of stuff, or no?
Well, I think so. I'm not sure where that overall plan is on the campground plan. Is that pretty close to being here?
Yeah, I got an email from Bar Engineering today, and they are 95% done. So they are getting the last few components in so they can have a community meeting and present to the council. So as far as the master plan goes, we are, like I said, about 95% to the way there.
And one of the things about going through that planning process, it was kind of a state program for planning campgrounds and recreational type. So it makes communities that go through that makes you, better chance to be eligible for grants at the state level. So one of the reasons the city kind of got into that overall campground planning was. So looking for roof repairs and other structural repairs, there's probably a wide variety of funding options that would be available for the city.
Well, I was down there and John showed me some things down there, and that office area is leaking and needs to be addressed. Maybe this year already, okay? And versus the other one maybe next year. But anyway, I think we can, and the fascia is bad. There's no painting going on, no staining, no painting. It's just play down there, just open up and close up, no work. So here we are. So yeah, I know we don't have a crew of 40 people to do everything. I know that. So here we are. Now we're gonna have to catch up on things. But you might as well figure fascia on all them places. But I think we can do like maybe one at a time, a phase 1, 2, 3 down there. If we need to do it on our own, I think the first thing is to get his office in order, and then the restroom, because COVID is closed down right now anyway. No use going on there unless we have a leak down there, and then do that right away in the spring. And then the pavilion, whenever after that. I don't know what pavilion we're looking at, the one right below or the one way down below. So I don't know, the one way down below was done in the 90s or 98 maybe even. So 90 or 98, somewhere in there. So that's, I would think, if we're gonna not to qualify or depend on a grant of some kind, that's where this position we have here opening with maybe a potential grants writer to put in that position. There are small playground grants if somebody can research. There's money somewhere. Well, where? And it's a long, tiring job to look into that. But maybe if we have to do it on our own, we do it on our own. That's called upkeep down there. So, I mean, pay for it, not do it on our own, pay for it on our own. So, but we can do it in phases or segments, whatever you want to call them. Jim.
And Mayor, at that price point that John was talking about, 16 to 20,000, there is money in the campground fund for that kind of repair.
So maybe we've got a lot of time between, well, I don't know how much, a lot of rain coming yet. So maybe by next meeting, also on the 13th, well, it's under $25,000. I don't know if you have to go for bids on that thing, but if the council's okay, we got money in the fund. If you want to at least pursue that, getting that, maybe Sam, getting that shingled by next meeting, come with a okey dokey on that by the council.
Yeah, okay.
By the 13th meeting. And we'll just put a bucket under there for another month or two, 6 weeks anyway. So. All right. Okay, go ahead, Jim. You want more?
That's it for the campground roof repair. The second is summer hire. We look for the council to confirm the hire of Ryan Jandry. And as the council's aware, we did post for a second summer hire position. Ryan has been the only applicant so far, and we still do have the wastewater summer position open also. But I've been looking for the council to confirm Ryan Jandry to the Public Works summer help.
I'll tell council, Mr. Jandry came and applied last week, and he could start on Thursday. And we have no meeting, and Sam came to me and said, well, I got a person who can start on Thursday, and so I know there's no meeting till tonight. So I made an emergency decision. Hired him on Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. Today is the 4th day. Now it's in your hands, either hire him or fire him. Up to you, counselor. Sam needed him, he got him. I made that decision, and that's the way it went. Now it's up to you. I mean, do it or not.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Scanza, supported by Councilor Leone to officially hire Mr. Jandry as our summer help. And he is a college student, a resident of Gilbert, and has worked on the summer crew once before, I'm told. So, any more discussion on that? By anybody?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So you indicated that you approved the hiring based on an emergency. What was the emergency that necessitated him beginning work prior to the meeting?
I think I've explained that to the council before. When I feel it's an emergency, it's an emergency. It doesn't mean when you think it's an emergency. It's when I feel it's an emergency. So there's actually no explanation needed. I felt it was an emergency, and I'm saying emergency because I kind of figured out that I'd have a problem from the counselor in the middle of a 2-week period because I can't get no trust out of some counselors to make those kinds of decisions. So then under the terminology emergency, I can do that without your trust and support. So it was an emergency. He was shorthanded. He had a person that we asked for summer help, and we don't have a meeting, and the person could start then. We had 4 days or 3 days of work from this person. It benefited the city. So there you are. I know you're probably not a good enough explanation, but that's okay. Anything else? All right, vote. Councilor Robish, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Polis?
Aye.
Councilor Skinsich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Anything else on that? Jim?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Library Director Sue the Boss.
Hey, how's everybody?
Fine.
Great. Now, I want to let you know that we ran around the community center and we posted signs that said masks on for everybody upstairs, downstairs, kitchen, posts, auditorium, everywhere. We require the people, when they come to pick up their checked out items, their requests, their movies, books, magazines, we require that they put a mask on as they enter the door. Now, there's another set of doors, so it's contactless. And on the table, I have a container of disinfectant wipes, should they feel the need. I've also got sanitizing liquid. And they schedule a time. If it's 11:20, we unlock the outside doors. 5 minutes ahead of that, we put their bag of goodies on the table and we go back behind the other doors, wave at them as they come in and they leave. They have also been told to social distance should anyone else be there. It has been going very well. We've upped it to 3 days a week now. And everyone has been very good about the whole thing. And we're getting, of course, as people hear about it and understand more about requests, we're getting more and more people coming into us. Now, other libraries have reached this point where we feel comfortable with our contactless checkouts. And we're looking towards not having people come in and browse yet, but we're looking at scheduling computer use. There are people that need to get applications done, or workforce, or school, that type of thing. And I put together an idea. Now, I did email this to Carl and Jim and to my board. The counselors, I don't know if you've heard about it, but I'm going to be very quick on this. Opening for computer use, and it's not right now. I'd like to, get you to think about this for the next 2 weeks, and we'll talk about it at council meeting. Gilbert Library can allow 2 one-hour computer uses per week per person. I know other libraries are limiting it to 1 hour per week, but if you have something and you've emailed and you really want to get that return label back, I would like to see you be able to come back in and we'll adjust. So computer use is going to be limited to times when 2 staff are in the library. So we'll have 1 hour limits. We'll have half-hour in-betweens so that we can clean up. We're limiting it to 10 years and up. No little kids running around. 1 person at the computer unless we have a special need. A wife typing for her husband, para helping somebody. You can get the idea, so that they'll be helpful. And you will wear a mask at all times. I am putting together a paper, and they will have to read through it and sign it if they wish to use the computers. Photocopying requires exact change placed into the change receptacle. No change will be made. So if you have 3 copies, give me 3/4, not a $20 bill. Sanitize hands upon entering and leaving the library. Patrons will initially wipe down their area that they have used, and I do have disinfectant there. The table area, around the computer, chair handles, back, and your hands before you remove the plastic covering. We ended up getting the sliders that they put over newspapers, but a little bit bigger, and we slid this over the keyboards, and I zip-locked the mice, and we have tried it. I updated and put in Zoom on all the computers, and it's fine. You can work the keyboard. There is no problem. But we do expect those people to take that off and throw it in the garbage when they're done after they leave, because there's no browsing. You'll have to leave the library. And then I will sanitize during that half hour. And then they will exit the building. There's no browsing for books or movies. And my threat is, if you break any of the above rules, you'll be forced to leave and will not be allowed back in to use the computers or any other library services. And then I asked, if you understand and agree to abide by these rules, please sign below. So this is for Jim, Mayor, and council members to at least think about. And if my rules comply, and council, if you want a copy of this, no problem. I'll send it in your emails if you'll email me. Any questions?
I thought very good. You laid everything out real nice there. You totally have a good plan. We talked about it a little bit at a working session at the end as an additional item. We were told that no libraries are open yet around the area. But I think
only Moose Lake just opened. Huh? Only Moose Lake just opened. Aurora and several of us are looking towards starting this computer, but no other browsing. Yeah,
but you say nobody will be browsing the books. I don't know how you're going to control that, but what do you?
That's by no.
Yeah, I wish we could. What's the recommendation by Jim and our COVID planner over there?
Oh,
put you on a spot, in a hot seat over there, Jim.
That's good. No, Sue has a real good proposal there, and over the next couple of weeks, I'll confirm with the Department of Health and see where we are to get a recommendation to the council for the next meeting.
Oh, and also this. I'm working with Aurora.
We wait one per meeting and see what we can go.
I'm sorry. I was just saying that I'm working with Paula in Aurora and other libraries, but she and I are, trying to do this. So, Jim, if you want to check with her city council too.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sue.
I think we can wait one more meeting. Mr. Leone, Councilor Leone thought if they all wear gloves, or do we supply their gloves, or they come in with their own masks, they better come in with their own gloves then. Because otherwise we'll go broke,
I bought deli gloves.
Yeah.
1,000 of them, actually, to start. And
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of patrons.
I can't have a lot of patrons.
Councilor Poulos has something to discuss here.
Yes.
It's open. They're bringing things out curbside, like, you know what I mean? They call in and,
The thing we think long run, we touch on this is the whole mask thing, yes, the medical or whatever, but it's also, if someone isn't wearing a mask and you have a medical condition, you have no right to ask them what the medical condition is. That makes it an issue for us. Right?
This is a correct statement about the medical conditions.
We just have to be careful on that subject.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So we're saying we'll wait till another meeting. We're going to wait till August 13th and bring it back up again soon.
Sure, and we allow face shields, and you can hold your mask. I have a condition, and I am more than willing to put a face mask on for an hour if I was working on a computer and I needed to get there.
Yeah.
And we do have our Wi-Fi open for people. They can park.
Yeah, I understand your frustration. You want to see people use the library. I understand that. And, well, we got to do this right and to protect everybody, you as well as your staff and others. And I'm sure we'll get it right. Maybe the next time we'll get it right, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for all your work planning and for protecting everybody. And that's a lot of work, I know.
Sure. And I didn't hear Mr. Poulos, but if you want to email me, with any questions, I'll be happy to email you back.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on getting the library open. I just had to reiterate about the mask policy thing, just so people are clear that if they're not wearing a mask and they have a medical condition, we can't ask them what their medical condition is. Otherwise, that's right into their privacy. So I'm with you on opening up the library.
Any
Yeah,
other
so-
questions?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Anything else for librarian? Okay, thanks, Sue.
You betcha.
Campground directors, John and Barb Ryan. Welcome.
Hi. Well, we had a visit last week from the health department. They stopped in, they wanted to see our COVID-19 plan. So we had it all ready for them, typed out. And so she went through everything and said everything we're doing is just perfect, that she was happy with what we had done. She didn't have any recommendations and basically just said to continue on the way we are. So that all went good.
Congratulations, bravo, good work.
And otherwise, we've been, last weekend we were full, this weekend we're full, so we're having a really good season, and even during the week, we've been getting a lot of campers in. So we've been happy, everything's going great, and, you know, all things considered, it's turning out pretty good.
Yeah, very good, thank you.
So that's all we have, unless anybody has any questions for us.
When is there any date for the next campground meeting?
I believe it'll be that first Tuesday in August. I think that's the schedule that's been set up.
Okay. You
But I
guys-
haven't heard from anybody on the campground committee since our last meeting.
I believe that they can have meeting on that first Tuesday is okay, I guess, yeah. Yeah,
I think we got a schedule from Jim or Sandra had sent a schedule or saying when it was supposed to be. So that's just all we were going on. We haven't actually discussed it with anybody on the committee.
okay, and you heard our discussion about the,
Yes.
okay. All right, counselors, anybody on the council or on virtual phone, Counselor Robich, you have any questions for our campground directors or concerns to pass along? Okay, we'll move on. Go ahead. Thanks for all the good work down there. John and Barb, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mayor.
And if Sue and, I don't think we need John and Barb, and Sue, if you want to get relieved or excused, go right ahead, you know, unless you want to stay on, go ahead. No, pass up Jim, no. Jim, you're next, council clerk, and welcome back from your vacation. I hope you're all rested up.
Thank you, Mayor. It was, what did they say? It was good to go, but it's great to be back. I guess maybe I'll flip that around. It was great to go. It's good to be back. So, thank you. A couple of things for the council here. Number one, due to the executive order 2081, the mask mandate, we did update our citywide COVID plan. A copy of that is available in City Hall, and we emailed copies of that to our department heads to distribute to the staff. So we are in compliance with that part of that mandate. Next item, as part of the COVID reimbursement, the CARES Act, the city of Gilbert will receive $134,482. And we have X amount of months, I believe it's till October, November, for us to submit our expenses, and then whatever we don't use goes back to the county. And as over the last couple of weeks, they've been rolling out more and more what is eligible. And one of the eligible expenses is upgrading city equipment to accommodate these Zoom meetings. And I think that COVID and this style of meeting is going to be here for quite a while. So looking for council's approval. I don't have a total price yet, but some of the upgrades we're looking at is upgrading the AV equipment. You know, a bigger TV that'll be mounted on the wall up there instead of that portable one we've been using. iPads for, you know, the council, for some of the staff. I was looking at a total of 10 of those. Between those couple of items there, you know, if the council would approve us, you know, up to $4,000 or so for AV equipment improvements, that would be, I think that's a good starting point for upgrading our systems here.
Would these iPads be able to take home with you then, or just in the council chambers?
That would be up to the council. They would work on Wi-Fi. So if you did take them home and you wanted to remote in, like Councilor Rovich is remoting in, if she was in a place that had Wi-Fi.
Instead of using their own computers or whatever.
Correct. And we would set these up, as I talked with Randy earlier about these, we would set these up with Wi-Fi capabilities, but not cellular capabilities due to the cost. So you'd have to be in a Wi-Fi area for these to work off-site. But we thought that would be a good approach. Like I said, I believe this COVID, these types of meetings are going to be here for a while, and it's time to update our AV equipment.
Okay, councilors, everybody heard his request. You want to give him we got $134,000, and this qualifies. Let's just make it $5,000, better figure for you, to do this TV and iPads for councilors as a start of, and we've had masks and we have gloves for city workers to include in this, plus the sanitizing of all our satellites and restrooms around the city public buildings. So we're gonna be able to recoup a lot of this money back. So, and like you said, you will probably be here until next spring anyway, like this, I think, but until that vaccine is out and is given to about half the population of the United States anyway, before it, you know, gets out of hand. So what's the wishes of the council? Okay to allow them to spend $5,000 on what he just on equipment for the council chambers, or to take home for the councilors, and
I'll make a move to purchase that.
it's a move by Councilor Poulos to allow and authorize the clerk to purchase up to $5,000 worth of equipment for the COVID meetings that we're having in the council chambers, which includes TVs and then iPads or whatever. Here a second.
I'll second.
Motion second by Councilor Skenzich. Okay, any more discussion on that?
Yes.
Councilor Leone.
One thing, they did in the past have iPads. Do you have a history of them back then?
Councilor Leone, I do not.
No history.
Oh. We didn't even have cell phones 20 years ago.
Well, I'm just skeptical about this iPads, but we approved it.
Well, these will be, Councilor Leone, you can rest assured these will be by their serial number logged in and logged out, traced to where they go.
Okay.
Any more discussion by any councilors? Councilor Poulos, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Councilor Rovich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And the last item under my staff report is we received 5 applicants for the special projects administrative assistant position. That position closed on Friday, the 24th. So I would like to ask for volunteers for a interview committee so we can start that process.
All right, counselors, he needs in. How many you want?
I would like to.
Well, yeah, we only can have 2 counselors. Counselor Robich, are you willing to go on that?
No, that will not fit my schedule.
Okay. Counselor Pullis, I see your hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, any other counselors? Skenzich, Counselor Leone? Okay, well, there you are, Counselor Pullis and Counselor Skenzich.
Thank you, counselors. I will be in touch and we can coordinate what days, times work best for everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, I say thank you. I know you might think I skipped over approved additions to the agenda, but there weren't any, so, okay. Right, Jim? There weren't any.
That is correct, Mayor. And that's the last item I had under my report. The rest is agenda items.
All right. Anybody have any questions for the clerk? All right, the Gilbert Water and Light Board minutes of June 18, 2020 is the only board submission of minutes for our approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Skenzich, supported by Councilor Leone to approve these minutes of the Water and Light Board meeting of June 18, 2020. Any more discussion? I don't see recommendations. They took into consideration, they had a resident come in with the issue of our electric and water meters, that some kind of medical condition will not be helpful for them, and really the Water and Light Board is taking that under consideration and with our attorney to adopt a clause or ordinance change in there to accommodate that condition, with not just this resident but others, and that may be affected by the electrical waves and stuff like that, or radio waves. But I don't see any recommendations. So okay to, who did I say who motion, who second? Councilor Skenzich, Councilor Leone. All right. Any more discussion? Councilor Pullis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye. Councilor
Robich.
Aye.
Mayor Muster, aye. Motion carries. All right, we're under old business, number 7 on our agenda, 7A, wastewater treatment plan update. I think we have Mr. Ron LaFawn, our engineer for Stantec, on the phone here. And,
yes, I'm here, Mayor.
All right, before I let you chime in here, we reviewed your letter at our working session.
Okay.
And I'll just let you know, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we, the council, I know Councilor Robich was not here, but the 4 of us here, we like your letter. I mean, we agree with a lot of that letter. I don't know how you can add that if it takes replacing all 3 membranes, so be it. And if those 3 membranes that come in and those are bad, they get replaced as well until it gets done right. That's the position of the city council right now. It has to work as we were expected to work 3 years ago. 2 running, 1 standby or on heavy load. If you can eliminate that polymer, I don't know. A lot of these things were not it's unacceptable right now. To add on this other segment was going to eat up the capacity of the plant down there, and hopefully Gilbert will grow. Hopefully Phil has plans of growing, and to add anything just to make this thing work right eats up that capacity, and unacceptable. They want it the way Gilbert was sold it was going to work, and that was 3 years ago, and we understand it to be 2 and a standby on heavy loads as the third one. Not getting that. No patch jobs, no other hocus pocus. Apparently we've got 3 lemons there. Hopefully we can get 3 other ones, and they work until it works like where we're satisfied. That's where we're going. Okay, Ron, you're good.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for elaborating on the council's position. And I also appreciate hearing your feeling, the council's feeling on using up call it the open space. That's helpful, and that will go in the letter. So I will prepare a draft, and I would like someone at the city to read it and see if we can get that sent out this week.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
As far as the treatment plant, they are continue to work. There are really very minor items in terms of what was original in the project. The tension rods are going in. The last sidewalk was poured, and there was a final piece of buried ductile iron pipe that was installed. I was last on site about 2 weeks ago. They may even be working on topsoil now and seeding. That was just starting a couple weeks ago. The contractor is working on the punch list, so obviously the contractor is not done, and I'll be on site tomorrow to meet the contractor and to walk through things with Sam and the operators.
Very good. As far as my thinking of the place, but I want to add one more consideration. Or was there a consideration of doing any painting or of those white roofs of those remaining buildings over there? The condition of the remaining original sewer plant areas? Is there any work on fixing them up, sprucing them up? They all look like they need some upkeep.
Thanks for the reminder, Mayor. Actually, that is one item I forgot. That is not done. It's specified. There was basically one gentleman in the state doing that work. It's not that it's that specialized. It's just really hard to find someone. And this gentleman had a medical, essentially retirement. And I know the contractor has really been struggling to find a replacement at a cost that that works for him. But yes, that work is specified. It is not done yet, though.
All right.
But I do look forward to seeing it, because in previous jobs where we get the specified stuff, it makes the covers look pretty darn nice. And now they do look, dirty, aged, and so on. So
you'll be working on that?
Yes, I will be. And one more thing, Mayor, if I could. I know that there have been some issues at the plant that have caused operator troubles with alarms. An equipment manufacturer was on site last week and did address a number of items, and one of which was the condition causing an alarm. And my understanding is that's been solved. So that is one alarm, at least, it looks like is gone for now. It's not going to bother the operators now.
One thing comes to my mind again now. Deputy Clerk and I toured that place last Friday, and Trudy gave us a good tour. They tell me there that room next to the office is very hot and does not have air conditioning or windows to allow that heat from that room to escape, so they got the door open. into the office room. So something needs to be worked on with that.
Yes, Mayor, that has been a discussion item. I will get back to the operators on that. I have talked to our electrical engineer. The equipment it does work at temperatures that may feel pretty warm, but I understand that, there may be your concern, the operators, and see if there's a way to get some air movement through there so the door can remain closed.
Yes, the noise is interrupting with the office because they have to have the door open to dissipate some of that hot air in there when they go in there. So.
You're correct. That is true. There's a number of electrical items that have little fans in them to keep themselves cool, and that kicks the heat out into that little room. But I'll follow up on that, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you.
And that's all I have for my report.
All right. Thank you. And councilors, any questions, or Jim or John or anybody?
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, Ron, it's Jim here. If when you get that draft done, if you just want to send it to me, I'll get that coordinated and sent out.
Thanks very much, Jim. I'll do that.
All right.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council, for your time.
Thank you, and you're excused then, Ron. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Minnesota Highway 37 update. Other than we talked about the lighting on there, and it'll probably be starting next week with some heavy work down there. I don't have any other. I talked about it in pretty length earlier in this meeting. Any more updates from John or Jim?
Just the MnDOT has a construction meeting every Wednesday at 1 o'clock across the street at the old gas station here. So just an update if anybody wants
they
to
have
go.
their office center for, at the old ICO building over here.
Yeah.
And okay.
So.
And Mayor, the only thing I'd like to add on that project is we did get a letter from MnDOT that the city's cost share was recomputed, and it decreased the preliminary estimate of 1.3 million to the revised estimate of $1,281,381.93. Just want to make the council and citizens aware.
Very good. So we gained another 250 grand or something like that.
On this,
less than we have to pay for.
Yeah, another 50,000. Yep.
Well, 50. Good. And also, we were served papers by I think I don't need an attorney to look into the vacating of condemnation of a bunch of properties on for the easement portion. I was served as a city official. I need to sign that to give back to them, and we need copies, and we need okey dokey here. So
I'd be happy to take a look, Mayor.
yeah, well, and then once I already signed it, after your review, just hand that over with our copy is made, because they want that back. They signed it already, and I need to sign it. That we were submitted that, and that they've submitted, I guess, condemnation notices to these properties that have not sent back their waivers.
Yeah, and I did send that to Attorney Lindsay late in the afternoon today, so he didn't get a chance to take a look at it. But the city of Gilbert's listed on there as we are the party of interest on one of those parcels, so we were lumped in with everything else. So it's a parcel that does. We use it now as a road, as an alley, and so I think there's a little bit of cleanup there probably has to be done also on our end. But that's the one parcel that we're listed on. So, and I'll review that with Attorney Lindsay, and we'll get that squared away.
You can send in that waiver to them, and then be done with that. Okay. Any questions by the council on this update? The high tower update, John or Jim or Sam's not here, so John, Jim? We talked at length at the work sessions about a few safety items and better at antenna attachments up there. As long as we're into this thing full bore up there, let's do it right. So let's look at some safety issues and better antenna attachment for antennas now and in the future. Well, anything else on that update? High tower, John, maybe Jim, whoever chime in. Other than that, yeah.
Mayor, on the water tank project, it looks like later this week we'll be stopping the water flow in there and going with the portable tanks. So we are moving right ahead with that project.
Okay.
So if the citizens, council, you see these tanks, you'll see them throughout a few spots in town. That's what they're there for. You can't miss them if
yeah, right. I see them. They're big.
Yep.
Like tanker. Yeah.
Right. Those tankers. Yep.
Well, as far as the painting, the design quote, we took that up under, I was presented last meeting as a consideration, not a, and I'll give everybody 2 weeks on the council to look at it. And we took it up under our working session. Was a consideration by the council to change the paint color since paint lasts 25 years or 24 years now versus in the past, it was only 6 years. And it would turn to white. And apparently for 80, we didn't know about the cost and we wanted to get a whole council vote on it of a whole. The cost came to us last week around $8,700. The whole job of painting and refurbishing the inside and outside of that is $780,000. So traditional paint would be another $8,700. Well, that's for somehow after the packets went out on Friday, firestorm went through town on Facebook with different opinions of to do it or not to do it, to not to do it because of the paint color, to not to do it because of the $8,700. You know, it was only about 8 or 9 and not 1,000 people. But I think the council here at the last working session decided, you know, some councilors here like a different color scheme, red, white, and blue, and some wanted pink and green, and some others. So if we don't have time to pull the whole city because it's only a 2 or 3 week window before they start needing, you know, to order some of this stuff. So we decided we're going to stay and leave it at white. 4 of us anyway. As Councilor Robich wasn't in session with us, so that's the council's. We're not going to poll everybody. We're not going to have a vote of anything. Decided there's not enough time for that. We probably should have done this if we were going to change the color. Thought about this last fall when we okayed this project, and we just didn't do that, and that's our fault. So it stays at white, and it's done. It's over. We don't even have to worry about the paint color. And it's in the $800,000. Councilor Robich.
I just want to correct the record. I was on the working session for the entire session.
Oh, well then we'll have to amend or reflect that on a roll call then, because we were not aware of that.
Yes, I sent an email to the clerk to let her know after she skipped my name at roll call.
Okay, we'll have to make that change on the minutes then to when we do the, you were on we didn't take no action on motions anyway, so that way there, nothing got passed. Thank you for that note. We were not aware of that. No. So any more discussion, paint design was dropped. Because it was just a consideration anyway to be taken up at this time, so it's been dropped. Correct, Council? Everybody right? No. Councilor Rovich, right?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay. All right, sanitation contract extension. Any more on the Hightower? Again, they're gonna come back with some prices or quotes on putting a stand or pedestal up there so we can put these antennas not on the water tank itself, but on the stand as they come. Let's do it the right way up there. And the safety issues of getting to the top of that with the ladder and all that kind of stuff. So we'll come back with that probably next meeting or somewhere in the near future. Sanitation contract extension, we went through length on that at the next meeting, last working session this evening. Councilors, we have a request by Mr. Al Muggy of our contractor for our garbage collection to approve his contract to hit the new owners, and I don't have the name, but whoever they are, and he tells us everything will be the same as it is now, and Gilbert has nothing to worry about. And he also, along with that, to okay that transfer of the contract to the new owners, also requests an extension of the contract to December 31st, 2024, with only a 3% increase each year. The city of Gilbert will be locked into that, other than fuel rates may go up or down or whatever, at $2.50 a gallon. I recommend at the working session that we again pass those two items. I don't know if we take them one at a time or we can do them all at once. We're okay to do them all at once, Counselor?
Yes.
I think we are, Mayor.
Okay. Our legal counselor. Yeah. There's two different counselors, our legal counselor and our city counselor. Anyway. Again, my opinion is to go ahead with this and agree to the transfer and agree to extension. Councilor Bulls. Motion by Councilor Pullis to do such, to agree to this.
I'll move.
Second by Councilor Skinsich. Now, any further discussion? Do we need the name of the new ownership?
Technically, I don't think we do, Mayor, because what my office has prepared already is an amendment that makes the contract signable. And then what we'll do is when the name comes forward, then the council can entertain the actual assignment.
Okay.
We've created the ability for it.
Very good, thank you. Okay, any more discussion on that? All right, so we're gonna vote on the transfer of the Al Muggy contract as garbage collection to the new ownership that he is selling it to, and extend the contract to the new owner and to Mr. Muggy at a 3% lock-in to the year 2020, December 31st, 2024. Councilor Pullis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skinsich.
Aye.
Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Councilor Rovich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Very good. All right. 2021 infrastructure phase 2 update. Jim or John?
Yeah, the phase 2 project's out for bids. What's in the agenda package is the advertisement that was published. The council already approved going out for bids on the project, and that's scheduled for August to accept or to receive the bids. And it includes right now almost all the stuff that we've been talking about is in phase 2.
All right, Counselor, see that? We're gonna go out for bids on this thing now, and then we're gonna have to go out for the bond on this thing. All right. What's the counselor gonna do? Authorize him to, you looked at that bid and you approved that bid just the way he got it written up. And how long is it? For 2 weeks or what? Till when? What date? Closing?
Well, August 7th.
August 7th.
This was actually the ad that went in the newspaper. Council already approved going to bids on it. This was just what was published in the paper. I don't know if there's any additional action needed on it, but this is just an FYI. If there's any more questions regarding the phase 2 project, we
need a formal bid on it, formal approval on this bid?
The council already approved going to bids on the project.
What's that?
You already approved going to bids on the project.
Yeah, so we don't have to take no action.
I don't think so.
All right, but it's just saying that now we see it. We reviewed your work, okay, right? That's what you're trying to get us to acknowledge, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, any questions on that by the council? All right, F. Clerk Paulson, Administrative Support Special Projects Update.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I had addressed that under my report up there, so we're done with that one.
Okay. All right, new business. Anybody going? No more talk on that then. New business. IRRR. I've got a bunch of resolutions I'm going to be reading here, I guess, but we need. I have to fill in the lines for the council member who motioned and the council member who second and how it got passed or whatever. So we're going to be taking a vote prior to the reading. So this one here, new business A, IRRR Grant Resolution 2024 is accepting of funds from fiscal year 21, which is next year, IRRR Community Infrastructure Grant Program for the purpose of Phase 2 construction project funding. We already got some 250 for fiscal year 20, right? And this is for 21, another 250, which would add up to 500. And we have a possibility of maybe one more.
That is correct, Mayor.
Except for 750 as a total. Well, but right now we need to do this resolution and get it sent in. So, somebody want to make a motion and then I'll read the resolution publicly.
I'll second.
And this one here, actually, I looked at it. I don't see where it says it needs a vote, but doesn't need the verbiage of the councilor who motion or second it. The other ones do, but this one I don't see it. Well, anyway, I will add that in there in my spiel. Moved by Councilor Skenzich, supported by Councilor Ioni to approve this resolution, saving Gilbert resolution number 2020-14. Councilor Volas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich.
Aye.
Councilor Ioni.
Aye.
Councilor Ovich.
Nay.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries. Oh my God. Motion carries 4-1. Councilor Robich voting no. And Councilor Pulis, Councilor Skenzich, Councilor Ioni, Mayor Oberstar voting yes. City of Gilbert resolution to the IRRB board, resolution number 2020-14, State of Minnesota, County of St. Louis, City of Gilbert, resolution authorizing the City of Gilbert to make application to and accept funds from fiscal year 21 Community Infrastructure Grant Program. Whereas the authorizing authority approves of the attached application for the Trunk Highway 37 Phase 2 Utilities Project, and whereas the authorizing authority agrees to accept funding for the underlying project if approved by the IRRB board, it now be it resolved that the authorizing authority of the City of Gilbert does adopt this resolution upon the vote taken. The following voted for: Councilor Pulis, Councilor Skenzich, Councilor Ioni, Mayor Oberstar. Against, Councilor Robich. Passing this resolution, whereupon said resolution number 2020-14 was declared duly passed and adopted this 28th day of July 2020. Done. Hopefully we will get that money. All right. Eller's pre-sale and resolution 2020-15. This is going out and getting the money, and then, you know, on here it says 2 years, Jim, and then, but after that, we're gonna go combine everything together and go for the 20 years time, right?
That is correct, Mayor.
Combine all these phases into one big one after we accumulated all the grants and PFA money, IRRB money, CDBG money, and whatever else to help us with this, and to where we know exactly what our responsibility is, and we'll redo a bond with that figure. All right. All right, I'm looking for my bond resolution here. Oh, here it is. Where's the resolution? Where's the resolution? Okay, thank you, Sandra. Throw it up. Okay, I got it here. Found it. All right. Oh, that's a charitable gambling one. All right. Well, we're gonna have to take a vote on this thing first of all. And did Councilor Pulis just step out, or he leave for the night, or no?
No.
He'll return shortly.
Okay. Oh, well, to discuss this a little bit, I need the motion and the vote before I read this thing. So I guess we'll wait. I'll move over to charitable gambling resolution or COVID plan. Merchant, you want to talk about that first of all? Wait till you clerk. AD.
Yeah, I think I'll defer to Deputy Clerk Goulin on that one, as I believe she discussed that. This came up when I was gone.
Okay.
Yes, Mayor, you had a question regarding whether a transient merchant, peddler, or solicitor would be able to solicit in the city of Gilbert due to the COVID pandemic protocol. And you had some concerns regarding that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were on vacation. We had an instance, we had a merchant peddler. He complied basically with all the Gilbert's Green River ordinance, I think, for peddlers to come solicit to the home property owners. Something about selling some books or something like that for college students or something like that. And he had a COVID plan. Well, I first asked Sandra to ask him if he had a COVID plan, because in my understanding, I'm not going to say, I'll mention anybody's name, but I'm understanding there was some COVID issues in town here, maybe. And some of the people might not even answer the doors. Want a stranger coming to their door with a suitcase. So, with that all said, and I said, I don't know, we have cases or not in Gilbert, verified to me, just rumor, okay? I have a rumor that there could be some positive or negative cases or quarantine cases because of exposure. And with that said, I asked Sandra to ask him, well, if you're gonna go, you better have a COVID plan, and he did. But then he decided on his own, because of all what I just said here, not to go to another community, okay? That was on his own decision. He had the plan, everything else was in order. Here was we bringing it up now to explain that to all the counselors, why he was not allowed to go around. Here's his decision, not our decision. We did not stop him, but we did have some concerns about the COVID situation, and he could be exposed or he could be exposing somebody. You have a plan, apparently everything's in order, but then he decided not to go elsewhere. So is Gilbert okay with the Green River Ordinance, City Council, and whoever else comes in as a peddler who complies with all the regulations in that Green River Ordinance? We need to have a COVID plan by these folks. And if they pass that, they're allowed to go among the town, right? I mean, we got to help the staff here on authorizing this to be done. Jim wasn't here, the COVID guru, and that's what it came down. But this gentleman made the decision himself. Fine, I mean, no problem. And he went, okay. But there may be others, so that's why I brought it up to the agenda. Everybody's okay. Can't be stopped if they comply with all the rules of that ordinance. I'm sure everybody can go take a look at it. But the only piece that was missing was the COVID plan, because that's all required right now. And he did have that, but he decided not to pursue his project here. So, okay? But so everybody okay? For others who come and want to, they comply, staff lets them go, but they have to have this one extra piece of development in this whole thing, not just comply with the green ordinance, but now you got to add this COVID plan into it. And if that suffices all the conditions, we are authorizing them, or though he or she or whoever, to go. I know I haven't seen too much of that in my time in Gilbert here. I mean, and he said he's been here before, I guess, right?
That's correct, Mayor. Apparently, this organization of college students come through the city of Gilbert every summer, and they solicit learning materials, and he did have a COVID plan in place.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted the council to be aware of it and get some kind of feedback from the council. This is still the way to go. Comply with the Green River, the ordinance for peddlers, and then have the COVID plan, and then all that is a green light, and authorizes the city staff to give the permit out. Okay? Otherwise, you have to change something, some part of this, and have our attorney change something for it to pass. Any more discussion on that? Okay. I think it's all cleared up, Jim, right? Okay.
Yes, Mayor, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, go back to number B, Ellers Presale Resolution 2020-15. This is to allow the company Ellers Public Finance Advisor to go ahead and bond and get us the money of $3,175,000 in general obligation temporary water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2020B. So again, before I read this, I need the motion and a second and the vote.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councilor Skenzich, supported by
I'll second it.
Councilor Leone, to approve the sale, authorizing the sale of these bonds, to go out and secure these bonds. Any more discussion? Councilor Poulos, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich?
Aye.
Councilor Leone?
Aye.
Councilor Robich?
Nay.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Councilor Poulos, Councilor Skenzich, Councilor Leone, Mayor Oberstar voting yes, Councilor Robich voting no, nay. Therefore, resolution number 2020-15, Councilor Member Skenzich introduced the following resolution and move for its adoption. Resolution providing for the sale of $3,175,000 in general obligation temporary water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2020B. A, whereas the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota has heretofore determined that it is necessary and expedient to issue the city's $3,175,000 general obligation temporary water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2020B, the bonds to finance the Phase 2 improvements to the water and sewer systems in the city. And B, whereas the city has retained Ellers Association Incorporated in Roseville, Minnesota, Ellers as its independent municipal advisor for the bonds in accordance with the Minnesota statute, section 475, period 60, subdivision 2, parentheses 9. Now, therefore, be resolved by the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota, as follows. 1, authorization. The City Council hereby authorizes Ellers to assist the city for the sale of the bonds. 2, meeting proposed opening. The City Council shall meet at 6:30 p.m. on August 25th, 2020 for the purpose of considering proposals for and awarding the sale of the bonds. And 3, official statement in connection with the said sale of officers or employees of the city are hereby authorized to cooperate with Ellers and participate in the preparation of any official statement for the bonds and to execute and deliver it on behalf of the city upon its completion. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by Council Member Leone, and after full discussion, therefore, and upon a vote being taken, therefore, thereon, the following council members voted in favor thereof. Councilor Poulos, Councilor Skenzich, Councilor Leone, and Mayor Oberstar. And the following voted against the same, Councilor Robich. Whereupon said resolution was declared and duly passed and adopted the date this date, 28th day of July 2020. Signed by clerk and mayor. Also, councilors, John, we have a couple bonds in the next couple of years that are from previous city projects that are going to be done, be terminated. So that's good too. So, charitable gambling resolution 20. I'm going to read that one too. 2020-16. VFW has negotiated with the Evelyn Elks to do their charitable gambling, pull tabs and stuff like that, I guess. And they need a license and an okay by the city of Gilbert to do so. The Gilbert VFW has previously had the Virginia Elks Lodging providing their charitable gambling activities at their location. The Gilbert VFW has voted to replace the Virginia Elks Lodging gaming operations with the Evelyn Elks Lodging charitable gambling. Council is requested to approve resolution 2020-16 as attached, and I will read that. So right after we take a vote, so. Anybody got any problem with that? I'm okay with that.
I'll move. I'll second it.
Been a motion by Councilor Pulis, supported by Councilor Leone to approve the gambling, charitable gambling license or permits for the VFW to be provided by the Evelyn Elks Lodge. Any more discussion on that? Any more discussion on that? Okay, Councilor Pulis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Skenzich?
Aye.
Councilor Leone?
Aye.
Councilor Robich?
Aye.
Mayor Overstar, aye. Motion carries 5-0. I'll read the resolution here. City of Gilbert, Minnesota resolution approving charitable gambling authorization to Evelyn Elks Charitable Gambling Organization, resolution number 2020-16. A resolution authorizing the Evelyn Elks to take over charitable gambling activities at the Gilbert VFW, whereas the Gilbert VFW has previously and historically had the Virginia Elks Lodge provide charitable gambling activities at their locations, and whereas the Gilbert VFW has voted to replace the Virginia Elks Lodge gaming operations with the Evelyn Elks Lodge charitable gambling, and whereas Evelyn Elks Lodge possesses appropriate skill, experience, and licensure to conduct the charitable gambling operations sought by the Gilbert VFW, and whereas the Evelyn Elks Lodge and the Gilbert VFW mutually desire and request authorization for the Evelyn Elks Lodge to begin to provide charitable gambling activities to the Gilbert VFW pursuant to Minnesota Gambling Control Board rules and regulations, and obtain the proper permits and licensure to do so to begin no later than September 1st, 2020 at the Gilbert VFW. Now therefore to be resolved by the City Council of the City of Gilbert, Minnesota as follows. That the city hereby authorizes the transfer of the charitable gambling activities from the Virginia Elks Lodge to the Evelyn Elks Lodge pursuant to the request of the Gilbert VFW. Be it further resolved that the city hereby authorizes and directs the mayor and the city staff to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate this transfer. Passed by City Council of Gilbert, Minnesota, 28th day of July 20th. Done. Our two signatures and it was passed. All right, and good luck with the operation. Miscellaneous, we have anything?
No, Mayor.
Nobody else, nothing under miscellaneous, all right. Councilor Skezich, yes.
One really quick thing. Have there been any complaints about the current garbage bags? I've heard some. I don't know if the city hall has heard it.
In the last 6 weeks or so, there's been a couple, and I can get one hand and still have some digits left over. That's how few there's been. The few that we have had, we've had them come in, we've exchanged their bags for them.
I just heard a few people saying that the bag was sitting like the old ones that we replaced. And that's what I figured maybe it was just the old ones still up there.
Yeah, and we do have some of them. So if anyone has that problem, they can just come in on and we'll give them new bags.
Yes, that's my understanding. We still have some of the old ones back. And if they don't like them, they can come in and replace them. But we do need to deplete that stash yet, you know. And then you get into the new bags. And I also read some stuff about the bag system in Gilbert versus not having a bag system. I went through this, I don't know if I did this earlier today or it was in a working session. Somewhere, one of these things I talked about. It is just why Gilbert has the orange bags versus other towns not having bags. Well, it's all because of fairness. We have elderly population in Gilbert. 60% of one household or two household people in there versus some families of 4 or 5. Your standard fixed rate is $11, $11.50, 50 cents for the roll off. $5.50 will go for the contractor or the city, whoever is doing the garbage collection. The other 50 we are collecting we used to anyway, collect for St. Louis County for the recycling blue bins you do see down there. So that's where that part is, but there's no money to pay for St. Louis County to lay that garbage weight at the landfill. And that's where the bag comes in. You're not paying 65 cents or $1 for a bag. You're paying about 10 cents for the bag. The weight in that bag, the garbage generated by you, the homeowner, pays for that tipping fee on a scale when we get the bill. City of Gilbert gets the bill from the Muggy agency. We have to pay that. And hopefully the revenue by the sale of these bags pay for that. Okay, you want a white bags? Well, then we'd have to develop a plan here. How much a house? $2 a house? $5 a house to figure out how much to pay that tipping fee. So is that fair? So for somebody that generates a half a bag of garbage every week, 2 bags in a month, and a household that generates 4 bags of garbage a week, 16 bags a month, to pay the same $2 if we went one standard rate, or $5 or $10 or $20 extra above the $11.50. Is that fair to everybody? Well, then, man, let's do the electric meters the same way. Let's just have everybody pay $25 in electricity every month. And I'll use a lot of electricity for $25, and you probably won't also use none. But is that fair? No, same thing with water. This is what we're doing with the garbage, being fair. And no white bags, gotta be orange bags to generate that revenue. It's a fairness thing. It's got nothing to do, it's like a bottle of beer is $3. You're not paying $3 for the glass. You're paying for the contents, and same thing with the bag. And you want to generate 5 bags, you pay for 5 bags of orange bags. You don't put 5 white bags in there and fill up these $300-gallon cans with everybody under the sun coming in here. And somebody's going to pay that overweight up there. If that standard rate of $20 doesn't pay for that weight, the taxpayer is going to have to pay for that rate. It's a guessing game if you do it that way. This way it's more fair. This is why you have the orange bag. I don't care what other towns are doing. We're going to be fair to every homeowner this is what it costs for that bag to be dumped, for that amount of garbage to be dumped up there. That's my explanation. All right. Approve the payment of bills and payroll upon the proper order of the clerk and the mayor. Moved by Councillor Skinsich, supported by Councillor Pulis to approve the bills and payroll upon proper order of the clerk and mayor. Any more discussion? Councillor Pulis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councillor Skinsich.
Aye.
Councillor Leone.
Aye.
Councillor Rovich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Motion carries. No other further business? Move to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Pulis to adjourn. Second by Councillor Leone. Any more discussion? 8:57. Councillor Pulis.
Aye.
Councillor Skinsich.
Aye.
Councillor Leone.
Aye.
Councillor Rovich.
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Adjourned 8:57. Thank you.